In this video, I'm just going to show you the new dashboard feature that's been added to GRMHIS. Before I get to the dashboard itself, there are some associated user permissions that you can set up so that you can give permission to certain individuals who should be allowed to use the dashboard or not. So under Tools, Manage User Accounts, you can select a user account, and then under the permissions, settings, and reports, there are two new settings here: View Dashboard and Edit Dashboard, that allow you to give permission, whether or not they even have permission to view it, and if they do have permission to view, whether or not they can edit. The benefit of the Edit Dashboard piece is that what you can do is you can create a user account, sign in as that user, create the dashboard for them, sign out and back in as yourself, and then remove the permissions from that user in order to ensure that they don't make any changes to the dashboard. Or you can just leave it open to them to manage the dashboard however they want it. Every dashboard is going to be user specific. So every user can create their own dashboards and manage them without affecting anybody else. So to access the dashboard, you can find it under the reports menu here, report dashboard, or there's a button on the button bar at the top that says dashboard, which I can then load. And what this will do is it will load. I've included with the release sort of a sampling of dashboards. There are three different types of widgets that you can add to the dashboard. One is an occupancy widget that gives you a year to date. And so what it does is you can select which date you want. So for example, if I want to look at the dashboard for October the 30th, I can select the date and go reload. And what this will do is it will calculate the occupancy for, in this case, the entire chapter from January 1st to October 30th of this year. And it shows me the number of rooms that we have, the number of room nights, which would be 42 times the number of nights in this span, 13 nights closed, 10,718 nights occupied. So my occupancy from all available rooms, that means if we don't take out the closed nights, would be 84%. And if we remove the closed nights, that's the occupancy. So it takes out, sorry, the other way around. Occupancy available rooms takes out the closed nights, and all rooms does not take out the closed nights. It only looks at the actual room nights. And then it calculates an availability percentage and the average total length of stay in that period. Mine is really high here because this is my database that I develop with, and I don't often update this, but this should be sort of a more accurate reflection of your occupancy for that. So if you want to edit a widget, you can simply double click on it, the header at the top here. The instructions, by the way, they're at the top here as well. So you can change the type of this particular widget. So I've got it set right now to occupancy summary year to date. If I don't want to show the entire chapter, I can remove a bunch of locations, and I can recreate the widget that way. And now it only gives me occupancy for the sample house. Now, you may want to have an occupancy summary for the entire chapter, and then you can also add separate widgets just for individual chapters. So if I want to add in a new widget, I'm going to click the Add Widget button here. I want to say I want an occupancy summary for year to date, and I only want it for my sample house here. So I'm going to click OK, and the widget gets added down at the bottom of the list. So there's my occupancy for my sample house. And if I want to, I can just click on this and drag it, and I can move it over here, so I can reorder the widgets, or I can use the Sort Widgets button here, and all I have to do is I select the widget I want to move, and I can move it up or down the list. So if I put it back at the bottom here, I've just used that tool to move it back to the bottom. So the simplest, of course, is just to drag and drop. So I'm just left-clicking and dragging, moving it to where I want it. Let's say I want it in the first position. It's now moved it over to the first position here. So this is my occupancy year to date. Then there's occupancy for one specific location. Here it is for the entire chapter. And then I also have just a regular occupancy, which looks at a particular date. So I had selected October the 30th here. So this is looking for the occupancy for specifically October the 30th for the entire chapter. So I have 42 rooms in my chapter, 2 rooms on this day. I have 2 rooms that are closed, 37 occupied. So if we look at the availability rooms, so that means the 42 minus 2. So out of the 40 rooms, our occupancy is 92.5%. If I'm looking at all the rooms, the occupancy is 88%, availability 95, and then my total average length of stay. And it also shows me on this day the number of adults, children, inpatients and outpatients. And the reason why this estimated is because the occupant data wasn't fully captured on that day. So one or more locations in the chapter I hadn't actually captured the information, so it's calculating it based on the family member information associated with each stay that fit for this day here. So that's a widget that captures it for the current date. You'll see here is a widget that captures it for 1 week ago. And the way that works is so it's my daily occupancy summary. So it's the same one as this, except rather than showing the data for the selected date, I want to show data for a previous date relative to the selected date. So I want something that's 1 week prior. So I've got 1 week ago, October the 30th. If I look at the next one here, I've got it 1 month ago. And here I've got 1 year ago or 2 years ago. So this gives you lots of flexibility if you want to compare between two dates. So for example, if I want to look at October 30th this year versus October 30th of last year, I can see the occupancy differences and so on for each one. I can see my occupants on that particular date and whatnot as well. There's the last widget type at this point. I'm hoping to add more widgets in the future, but at this point, I have just the three. There's also a widget for capturing room requests. So this is a summary of the room requests on, in this case, the selected date, so whichever date I have up here, as well as for whichever locations I want. And it's showing me that on October the 30th, I had 75 open requests. 22 families were actually waiting for a room. So that means they need a room now or in the past. And those 22 families have been waiting on average 261 nights. Again, this is a database I don't update frequently. I've also got room requests for the future, so 2 of them for the future. And then we've got 47 unprocessed web requests and 1 processed web request on this day. And this graph also, if I hover over top of the bars, it'll show me what each of these represents. Gives you just a visual of the information that's here. There are options here as well to show labels on the chart. So if I click this, it regenerates the widgets, and now it has the labels for each section on here. So if I look at this one, for example, I've got 37 rooms occupied. I've got, doesn't always work because the label's in the way, but this just corresponds to each one of those. And then I can also show a legend on the chart. Now that makes the chart fairly small because it's got to fit it in. But that also gives the legend there for each of those. So that gives you a few options for how you want to present these. So again, if I want to have the room requests at the top, I can just sort of click anywhere in the white space here and I can drag it, and now I have my requests at the top, or I can move it right into the middle. However, I would want to do that. If I want to move it to the end, I can drag it into the empty space here for that. So again, to edit a widget, double click on the caption at the top there, and then you can make your changes. To add a widget, you're going to click on Add Widget, select your type, indicate the dates that you want to show it for, and the locations that you want to include for this particular widget, and save. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, every dashboard is user specific. So you can create a dashboard for yourself without affecting anybody else. So you can customize it. So if you don't want to look at the whole chapter level, for example, but you only want to look at your own house that you're responsible for, you can remove all of the chapter widgets here. So I can just go through and delete the ones that I don't want to have, and then create the widgets that are relative for what I have. So again, 3 different types. The daily occupancy summary will look at this particular day, or it'll look at this particular day and then a date relative to that day. So 1 day prior, or 1 week, or 1 month, or 1 year, or I can go 2 months if I wanted to, for example, and again, select the locations that are there. The other option is just the year-to-date summary, which will just calculate from January 1st of whatever year you're in up to the date you've selected, and you can select which location it's for. And then the last one is the room request summary, which calculates what your room requests look like on that particular day, or relative to that if you select the relative time as well. So that's the new dashboard feature.